What's up, guys? It's Uncle Freedom coming to you again on not a glorious and well-deserved day off, but in fact we are at the Law Enforcement Training Center. Yeah, fun times. Teaching a new basic class of recruits how to shoot rifle, not die, and not to shoot us, which is kind of the goal. So
we're so far.
Yeah, right. Nobody's dead.
Well, we came close.
Yes. But as promised to you guys, and those of you that thought my Ruger was a left-handed rifle and freaked the fuck out, and I got about 400 messages specifically asking me about my left-handed rifle. I thought I would get a wrong-handed friend to show you his rifle. So guys, I told you about this guy. This is Officer Meanie. No, you can't have his real name. Meanie Ed. You can't have his real name. You can't know where he works, and that's okay because that's just how it's gonna fucking be, and you understand.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, right. You don't need to know. So anyway, we're going to take a look at his rifle that he runs. So for those of you lefties out there, go ahead and like, subscribe. For the rest, like 90% of the country that is not wrong-handed, go ahead and like and subscribe to show your left-handed brethren some support. Because God, it's got to be hard to do things when you...
It sucks. Dude, like trying to find even like a left-handed bolt, good luck. You're down like 3, maybe 4.
Oh, dude, what
decent
fucking
companies.
And it blows too, because like I want to shoot his shit. He hands it to me, and I can't fucking run any of it because everything's on the wrong part of anything I touch. It's
karma.
It's because I'm a righty. He's just mad because I can outshoot him. Some days.
Since when?
Some days. It's occasional. All right, so we'll take a look at his toy. I think you guys will like it.
All right, get that out of the way. So just to show everybody, we are clear. Get that nice little cool flag.
Look at a red thing.
Yeah.
The red thing.
See?
It's gonna flag me in about 5 seconds.
It's fine.
It's empty though.
It's not the worst thing you can have with it.
No.
Alright, so we are clean or clear. Mag in it. So, basically we got just a Rainier arms and be lower. So you got the mag release on the bottom side here. Does that. The bolt release, it does not have a true ambi bolt release, but it does have a bolt catch on the right side. So that button right there. Set that on. We got maximum stock, CQB stock. So I run it in the cruiser like this, whereas if Freedom's here told you that you leave your stock staged in the right position. Right?
All the time.
Okay, so with this one, you don't have to. You can leave it set like this, and there's a preset screw right here. You can kind of tell it sticks out a little bit. But, so when I grab it, I go to sling it, I just give it a yank, and it's preset to my perfect length pull. Radian Raptor charging handle.
We'll get the words eventually.
Yeah, words are hard. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day.
We got the Surefire SOCOM SP2 can. It's really nice. Surefire War Comp muzzle brake that I do have just pin and welded in the straight 12 o'clock position, just because I like to give it to you right-hand people, and I'm nice like that.
He's not really though.
And you can ask me if I care later. We got a 13.9 Hansen profile mid-length barrel. So with the war comp on it, it's right at that 16-inch line. So ATF.
We like our dogs.
Yeah. So we got I took a Magpul vertical grip and I just kind of cut it down a little bit more because I don't need all that extra girth. 13-inch M-lock handrail, Magpul sling that I did add a nice little pull cord to. I am kind of cheap on some things. Hogue overmold grip, Vortex Spark red dot, Surefire Scout 600 lumen on an Arca 45-degree rail or M-lock mount that keeps it nice and tight. I'm gonna flag your camera.
No, you're fine.
Keeps it right and tight up against the handguard. I did have to modify my M-Vest front sight because that leaf on this side was kind of touching on it. But other than that, what else did we miss?
Trigger.
Trigger is a Rock River Ultra Match.
He'll get there.
Yeah. So
And your safety.
and my safety is a Rainier 45-degree stop and use safety, obviously. Brakes at right 3 pounds, so nice short reset on it. Guts, other than that, are pretty much standard AR cylinder.
Now, for those of you that like disagree with me when I say things like shit breaks and technology always fails, we went through a rifle instructor's course together, and we had a damn good time doing it. And yes, I can bring it up. So we're going through this class. It wasn't just us. There was a bunch of other guys. We had a bunch of like Grand Island SWAT out here. Another city SWAT team was out. We were all having a great time. In that course, while we were shooting on day 2, my Vortex red dot completely died. Like it didn't work. Like, and I spent the rest of my time like trying to unscrew this entire thing. And then we waited patiently all week to get to our night shoot, because the night shoot is fun. And I have told you people over and over and over again that if you really want to get better at shooting, you need to do some nighttime shooting, because let's get face it, it gets dark every day. It's kind of a guarantee unless you live in Alaska. But we're talking about going out shooting it. He's got his nice, fancy, sexy Surefire Scout Light, his beautiful pressure pad. We're getting ready to run this nighttime drill. It's going to be amazing. We're all geeked up and ready to go, and he presses out and he has no fucking light. Everything shit the bed all at one time, and he went from having this beautiful, awesome, sexy flashlight to having a really cool paperweight that Surefire didn't know how to fix. It's a reality.
2 weeks to give me something.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a reality. So it's when we deal with this stuff, like, and I said this in the precision marksmanship video, technology is great. Technology is never going to be a substitute for being able to do other things, which in our case is being able to take a handheld light and run a handheld light while running a long gun. It's not as convenient, it's not as conducive to what we're trying to do, but it will work in a pinch. So stuff like that, you gotta keep it in mind. Just because you bought expensive shit, and I know nobody wants to hear that you bought expensive shit that sucks. You buy expensive shit that sucks. I got a fucking garage full of expensive shit that sucks, because I own a lot of weird gear. We'll go with that. Like I have.
Oh shit! I bought stuff that you just think, hey, this will look great and this will work great, and you take it out in about 5 minutes in your race, and say, this is not fun.
Now I will say, Surefire did fix him. They did get him set up. So kudos to their customer service, but it did take them a little bit. Vortex got mine back to me in just under 3 days. There is actually a problem with the Vortex I was using. It has a wiring issue that they know about and have upgraded since I had that one. And what we basically ended up with is all the wiring disconnected from the battery connect on the red dot. And under recoil, the dot just went away. And it may come back, or it may not. You have to kind of see. So for those of you that have wanted desperately to see a true lefty's rifle, he's wrong-handed as hell. And you know what? I will tell you this. Holding the gun with all of the ambi controls is kind of neat, even for a righty, because I'm like, oh, cool, I can do shit I didn't think about. That's kind of what makes it fun. But this is a working gun. It's just like my Ruger when I showed it to you guys. People were floored that I was running a gun that cost $700. You know, this is a more expensive build out, but he's a lefty. And unfortunately, lefties are at a disadvantage. You're going to have to pay more money to get the same capabilities that I get just naturally, because most of us are right-handed. But these are working guns. So this isn't pretty. This isn't made to look shiny and stay in your safe. I tell you guys all the time, run your shit, run the hell out of it, know its weaknesses, know your weaknesses with it, and push the envelope to get better with both. This is another one of those examples of he's tried it, it didn't work, he trashed it, he tried something new, just like that Ruger video you guys saw. This is a genuine patrol rifle like mine. It rides around, it does cool guy shit when we ever get told we can do cool guy shit. This guy also has another very sexy rifle, which if we get time tomorrow, because we're still out here teaching, I'm going to do another video. We might actually have to do that one from the range. I was originally going to try to do this on our other range, but we actually had state patrol here and they were blowing up shit. So
that was way cooler than your video.
It was much cooler than the video. I'll post it. Actually, I filmed it. We set off det cord and shit. So yeah, our day doesn't suck, in case you're wondering. But he's actually got a 6 arc that he built recently when he attended the Nebraska law enforcement sniper school. So it's a pretty dope ass rifle. I like it, the setup on it. It's much like my LaRue that you guys have seen with a Hubble Space Telescope attached to the top of an AR. But it's a fucking gold mine of a rifle. It's really well done and it's pretty. So there is that.
It's got scratches.
It's battle worn finish for those of you. You know how you get
and
battle
I
worn.
didn't pay for it.
Yeah, you fucking use it and it's battle worn. But so on another side of it, I've told you guys that he's also a firearms instructor. I know you know that that's my background. That's what I do. I care a lot about medical. I care about passing information on under people. He is the exact same way. One of the reasons we get along so well, this is my Air Force guy who actually will tell you he did nothing in the Air Force, which immediately made me like him. So there's that. But teaching like
it's true.
That's true. So today, for example, on the range today, we took our troops, our trainees, whatever you want to call them, from 50 yards and kneeling to transitions from a rifle to a handgun, as well as dick sticking them, which is taking a wood stick and shoving it in your ejection port and giving you just a giant fucking problem of a malfunction. But it's a very true way because they can't control the malfunction we're going to get. It's not going to be a failure to feed. We don't know if it's going to be a failure to fire. We don't know if it's an eject, a stovepipe. We had one of the nastiest brass overbolts I've seen in a few years. Took me a solid.
You didn't see that kid though. He was crying when you were ordering that gun.
Well, to be fair, it is a vintage Colt M16 Vietnam original pencil barrel, original 3-prong flash hider, triangular handguard with the giggle switch. One of those perks you see in law enforcement. Smaller agencies end up in loaner rifles that are actual M16s from Vietnam. It is absolutely a thing of beauty. It's super lightweight compared to anything we run.
Yeah.
And it got one of the nastiest brass overbolts I have seen in years. And this is a true blue one, so no forward assist on this. No brass deflector.
Bolt-on brass deflector.
Yeah, a bolt-on brass deflector in the carry handle. And I bet I mortared that rifle a solid probably 20 times. And I was jamming a multi-tool inside of this. And yeah, I cut a hole in the ground and the brass was actually hooked like this over the top of the bolt and into the gas tube. So it was a nasty one, but that's why we do it. They have to see those things if it's possible. But when we run these drills out here, I told you guys in another video that you have to make sure that your training's on par, because I told you point blank during the home defense video, you will never get better in the middle of a fight. You will regress to your highest level of efficient training.
And I want to kind of piggyback off that
Go for
a little bit.
Jump in there.
Not just you will degress to your highest level of training, you will degress to your highest level of training you have mastered.
Yes.
So him and we can show you once, and if you take it from a class and go, okay, that's cool, yeah, we got it, and then you go home and for 6 months you don't touch it, you don't work with it, you don't do anything about it, you're going to forget it. And then you're going to be sitting there fucking through the damn whatever fight you're in. God, I hope it's not a fight. I hope you're just at the range, having fun with it. But once you train on it, you have to practice with it. There's a training side of it, then there's a practice side of it. You have to do both. You can't just take the training on one side and then say, okay, I'm good for 6 months. It's a very, very perishable skill.
Yeah, and we watch these guys. So we've touched on a lot of these stuff with the trainees at this point. They know how to reload a rifle. They know how to manipulate a trigger, manipulate the firearm itself, make accurate hits, standing, kneeling. They've done it at 50 yards. We've done it at 7 yards. And you would have been amazed when we put just this much pressure into the equation. It fell apart. They forgot the sequence of performing a reload. They didn't remember to write that they would eject the magazine instead of releasing the
round counts.
Yeah, I mean they couldn't count the amount of rounds they were supposed to shoot anymore. They shot the wrong target. It is amazing how fast it just completely devolves. If you think I'm kidding, I encourage you to go to the range, do something you've done 100 times, and then find a way to add stress into it. Put yourself on a timer, because that's the only way to truly measure if you're getting better. He's a firm believer in that, as am I. We don't go anywhere without shot timers in our bags. It is absolutely.
I have one on my phone, just in case, if that one takes some shit.
He's also special, so.
It's not the greatest timer, it was free, but.
It works great for dry fire though.
Yeah.
It's easier to set part-time than the ones we run, but you would be amazed how fast it goes downhill. So we've taken a group of people, basically over a 3-day window. Tomorrow, these guys and gals will go out and they will actually qualify the Nebraska State Law Enforcement carbine course. That includes everything from prone 50-yard shots, standing 50-yard shots, all the way to rifle to pistol transitions. And we will have them shooting off of barricades, walls, and doorways, and shooting hostage targets by the end of the day tomorrow. But then again, we hand all of this information over, because when we come out here and teach, we have a master instructor, like the head honcho of the entire deal. He's an excellent guy. I won't give you his name, but he's really cool. I will say that. And what we do when we're out here is he gives us the ability to train. We're there to coach and make adjustments and tell you, hey, you lean here, fix your feet, do these things. And it's imperative though, even once they leave here, if they don't go back and train, we'll never see them in an instructor class. We will run into them in the first time, and I've told you guys this before, you can become a cop and the next day on the street get into your first gunfight. And how much you paid attention and how much you trained could be the end of it.
Didn't your guard know on the east side, didn't he say that they had a guy on FTO that would, week 3 out of the academy?
Yes.
That he was in a firefight?
Yeah, he got into an OIS. And then another one for those of you that think cops don't do anything. So 2 weeks ago, we were here teaching handgun, and it was an excellent time. And I've got a new camera on the way, and we will actually film some of this the next time, though we'll have to blur out the students, but yeah, it is what it is. But we were actually talking to him, and right before he came up here, they had an officer-involved shooting with an officer who was trying to be overly cautious and not resort to force. That person shot 2 officers that day, ended up getting killed by one of them, but one of them's knee was shattered into about 27 pieces, and his career is probably over. So
That was a kid off FTO, wasn't it?
I think
was that the career?
that was the career guy.
Okay, yeah. I know that one of them was career ending.
But it's, like I say, guys, when you look at this stuff, when I talk about your home defense, under pressure, you'll never get better. It's important that you go out, you run drills, you try to get better, seek out training. I've told you guys 100 times, get over on Instagram at UncleFreedom213, send me a message, I will shoot you drills to do to get better. I'll give you advice, I'll try to help you any way that I can. But something you've got, like, I did, I jacked the shit out of a couple of those, they're good. But when we look at this, it's important that you go and you train and you learn. And more important than that is I know that you've got a beautiful rifle at home that you are terrified of getting the first scratch on. Go out and drop the thing on the fucking ground.
More importantly, take your beloved concealed handgun piece, which actually,
He's got his with him.
yeah. You can see my white leg, I don't care.
He's shiny. We're in Nebraska. We wear pants like 11 months out of the year.
Yeah. So, Block 48, right? Hollow Sun 407, okay. Yeah. So, what I have my students do with their beloved handgun that they just spent a lot of money on, I'll have them take it out to the range, hold it out like this, turn it sideways, and drop it.
I flinch a little bit because it still hurts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not that much of a dick. I don't make them do it on concrete.
Yeah.
But there's a couple different reasons why I do that. One, I know you've seen this on the range as much as I have, and butts pucker a lot. Where this gun goes to fall, that dipshit is going to sit there and go, oh my god, my safe queen, and try to catch it. I've actually seen it where a guy was shooting a 1911, caught it like this, thumb in the grip, the beaver tail safety was depressed, and he was staring down the fucking barrel. I don't know, God must have really liked him. He likes him a lot better than me.
But 911s do jam.
Well, yeah, it probably didn't have around him. But
uncomfortable truth.
yeah, so that way you know that when you drop that thing, I mean, dude, guys, it's a Glock. They're one of the most safest handguns you can have there. And you know there's no safety on it. I don't give a shit. This is my safety. Yeah, I just made a movie. But you drop it, you know that those safeties are going to work. There's 3 safeties in this gun. You have to depress all 3 for them to actually work. Dropping it is not going to depress any of those safeties, or disengage if you want to use it correct terminology. So that way, if you're in the middle, if you're going to try something, you know, very, very high speed, low drag shit, and you go for that reload and you fumble it, and for somewhere, you know, you're sweaty, your hands are slick, and the gun falls out of your hands, let that fucker fall. It ain't gonna hurt the gun. If it does, you get a really cool training, memorable spot. Hey, this is where I fucked up. Make a mental note. Don't dwell on it. Go on. That was that. There's that one. Another thing. If you are in a concealed carry shoot, and we show up, we're gonna be a little bit high adrenalized. We're gonna tell you to drop the gun. And I understand it's a clean shoot. It may be a clean shoot. I hope to God it's a clean shoot.
Otherwise, we're going to get to know each other a lot
very,
better.
very well. But on first impression, if I get a shot or a shots fired call, and I see you holding a gun, I'm not going to ask you very politely, put the gun down. And when I say put the gun down, I'm not saying all nice and pretty and okay, nice and good. Alright, so if I come up to an after shoot or a shots fired call, and it could be a very clean shoot, it could be very, very easily justified. At first impression, if I see a guy just sitting there holding a gun, I'm not going to be very polite when I say drop the gun.
Yeah, I mean, we're there because somebody shot somebody.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know you're a good guy.
Yeah. So, and when I tell you to drop the gun, I don't mean this whole nice and gingerly, I'm just going to put it right here. I don't want to scratch it. Drop that shit.
Drop it like it's a fucking snake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get rid of it. Because that lets us know you don't want any part of it. And the thing is, and this is for those of you that think guns are unsafe if you drop them, if we believe for any second that when you let go of that gun, we would get shot, we would not tell you to drop it. I like me too much to tell you to drop it.
I am very, very allergic to high-speed lead.
That is fucking true.
So
that shit hurts.
Yeah. And that whole Superman thing, I can just, stop a speeding bullet. I can do that once. Twice maybe. That shit hurts.
And you die and you bleed.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of problems. Yeah. Another thing I like about the whole thing, and I see this all the time when I teach classes, when you drop a gun on the ground, your immediate response is yes to A, try to catch it, please don't do that. Second, though, when you realize the gun didn't break, it's not fragile. They're not gonna come, and I have news for you. If you have a gun that is so fragile you dropped it and it quit working, you bought a bad gun. Any gun from any reputable major manufacturer, you drop it, it's going to be just fine. You can pick it up off the ground and continue on about your way. You're not going to damage it. The worst case scenario is you shift your sights if you drop it hard enough. And you spiked it into concrete. Okay. And even then, you still might not do anything. One of my Glocks, I dropped it from about 8 feet into the stairs, and it went down a bunch of concrete stairs. Nothing wrong. Not a problem in the world with the gun. It's got a couple of cool dents and dings in it now. They'll smooth out over time with your use. So, guys, that was a good look at his rifle today and some fun facts and uncomfortable truths about training. We'll have to do some more of these. This is kind of fun. Me and him train together. We do some teaching multiple times a year here at the academy. And
we actually do some more stuff outside of the academy.
Outside of the academy. And the thing is, we see things you would never think existed. For example, and I'll leave you with this. I watched a rifle wave a white flag at someone today because he was so tired of fucking being run. No bullshit. This kid took the tag off of his shirt, so go logistics with me, okay? Tag off of his shirt, ended up in the chamber of his AR. So apparently what he did is it fell into where he was storing his magazine, and when he reloaded, it picked up his thing and shoved it into the gun and caused a massive malfunction that left him unable to complete the drill. I have never in my life witnessed that happen, but we do. So when you hear firearms instructors say, "Why are we telling you this?" We've witnessed it before. It's dumb shit. You would not believe the level of stupidity you see, and it's not dangerous stupidity. It's just Murphy's Law. Nothing survives first contact, and if it can go wrong, it will. You will see it absolutely go haywire for no other reason than it's Tuesday.
It's hot.
It's hot, it's sticky.
Also, one thing I'll leave you with, when you go to train, which we saw this today, buy quality ammo.
Jesus
especially if you're
Christ.
going to a class. If you're going to a class like this, what are they at, 1,500 rounds for the
1,500 rounds
3 days for the week. So they're at 1,500 rounds. Now, this is some of the fun stuff that us law enforcement get to deal with. We understand, budgets and stuff are tight, but when you're going to take a life-saving class like a firearm class, which make no mistake about it, a firearm class, believe it or not, is a life-saving class. You're not taking this so you can look really cool in the range and our multi-cam and all this shit. We're doing it to save lives.
And to look cool in the range.
Well, that's
for
a
us.
byproduct.
Yeah.
But, so we had it happen on the range. 2 separate people from the same agency that were buying remanufactured ammo. Now, if that's what you run and you had no issues with it, just tune out for 5 seconds.
But no, it can happen.
It will happen. I've seen it way too many times. I've even bought some ammo from a guy that I really trusted. I worked with the guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got this remanufactured stuff." 1 out of 5 worked. Ish. And I'm being very generous. Now, you can reload. I know Freedom here, he reloads, so there are people that are very, very anal about their shit. So I would not have any issue putting his ammo in my gun. These guys, however, at 15 yards?
15 yards.
They were having keyholes.
Straight keyholes, like the perfect profile of a 55 grain. Just
into the target. You don't see that, especially at 15 yards.
And here's the thing, you can't say it's twist rate and not stabilizing, because it stabilizes in a 1 in 12 and not in a 1 in 7. These were twisted to 1 in 8. But when we actually pulled it, we actually pulled these bullets down. We could, normally to figure out if there's a discrepancy in a powder volume, you actually have to weigh it. You could look in the case and be like, holy shit, this is off by like 3 or 4 grains of powder. We also realized that the bullets were plated, not full metal jacket, which is a problem in a rifle because the velocities are too high for a plated bullet itself.
There were also different powders.
Yeah, different powders. We had tons of different head stamps in this mix. So we have the perfect storm. And I talk about this in match ammo. Perfect storm. We have inconsistent brass, inconsistent powder volumes, inconsistent powder types, inconsistent seating depths. We had one that actually got chambered, and when he went to pull it back, it actually pulled the bullet out because it was never crimped, and it dumped powder all inside of his firearm. And the reason we caught it is because
the bullet stayed in the chamber.
The bullet stayed in the chamber.
It was not seated enough to where it was actually still in the rifling of the barrel. And when he pulled that casing out, the bullet stayed in there. And when he put that extra round in there, that, thank God, it was where...
Yeah, because otherwise we'd have had a boom.
Very, very expensive.
And then the thing was, when we pushed it in, like, one of our other guys smacked the forward assist, which goes back to the whole please don't beat things into holes they don't want to go into. And actually, when we pulled it back, it had compressed the bullet all the way down inside of the case, which would have blown the rifle up. But we saw that out of this lot of ammo. We saw multiple keyholes out of this lot of ammo. We were getting inconsistent, like they were shooting a group this big, and then we would have one way up here, and it's because the velocities were so different, or how it was sat into the bullet was such an extreme, one into the other. It was insane. It was bad enough that one of the guys that helps us teach here, who is literally famous and is friends with everybody, no bullshit, he actually called the owner of the company that remanned the ammo and got him on the phone, and he's going to replace all that ammo. But the thing you've got to understand is, if this had been a course that they had paid $1,500 or $500 to attend, plus the cost of ammo, travel, room and board, they get out here, they're here to learn, that's the ammo they brought. Their day ended. They get nothing out of this training, and I got news for you, we don't give money back if you bought bad ammo. But that can happen.
That's on every gear list you see when you go to take a class.
Buy good ammo.
Quality
ammo.
And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy the ammo that you're going to carry.
No, not
nobody can really have that much money.
But I mean, you can buy Frontier, American Eagle, like a decent quality full metal jacket, you'd be fine. But we saw it happen. And another one we saw, we had a guy that has a very nice rifle, and he is shooting Hornady steel match. So that is a steel cased ammo. I don't have a problem with steel case, but we saw one of the pitfalls of it today, which was while we were running malfunction drills with the dick stick, his extractor actually ripped the rim off the case, and we had to go knock it out with a rod. So it's another one of those cases of it's a complete failure to extract. And no matter how many times we dropped the bolt on it, it wasn't coming off. So when we talk about malfunctions, I hear people say, I've never had a malfunction, I've done this. You haven't run your gun hard enough. Because I will tell you, you run a gun hard enough,
you will find a failure.
You will induce your malfunctions. And you'll hear a lot of people say, I've never had a malfunction that wasn't ammo related. Ammo related is ripping a rim off of a case. Ammo related is a bullet being stuck into the lands. Ammo related is rounds that fucking keyhole all of a sudden and then blow up a part in the gun, or won't cycle the gun, or they were improperly sized and they get completely stuck or won't chamber at all. Like, we see these things, and the problem is, if you shoot 500 rounds a year, the odds of you seeing it really low. But we start talking about actually running your gun and pushing the envelope and shooting that gun. We're talking about you shooting in excess of 1,000 rounds over 2 days, 1,500 rounds over 3 days. You're going to get the gun hot. You're going to push its ability to be reliable. You're going to run it dry. You're going to run it dirty. And when we start mixing all of those things together, things start failing. And we saw that today pretty well. And fortunately, we just happened to catch it going down, and we looked at a target, and we had perfect bullet shapes sideways at 15 yards. So we were able to get it corrected for those guys, and we're keeping a closer eye on it now. But we see it.
They actually went and bought ammo just so they could qual with
Yeah,
quality ammo.
because we have that qual tomorrow, and the thing is, you don't qual, you can't have a rifle, so it's a requirement in our state. But so guys, I am Uncle Freedom. This is Officer Meanie Head. If you want to see more stuff with him, let me know. He's a decent enough guy. I happen to like him, and I've spent enough time in the same room as him because we were roommates for like 3 straight weeks. We'll definitely do some more stuff. We'll be back out here shooting and training again, probably again during this class, definitely during the next one. It's always a good time. We run across some really weird shit. And in between now and then, we'll collect our own stories of weird shit, and maybe we'll just do a weird, unknown, and uncomfortable truths about shooting guns all the time video. That would be fun. I bet he can break some neat shit at the table, but God knows I can. I watched an objective limb fall out of a fucking scope one time. Like, I had an entire erector assembly inside of a fucking optic. I went to dial and the fucking thing fell over, and it was over. Like I had no ability to shoot anymore. So it's interesting stuff. So guys, I am Uncle Freedom. This is Officer Meanie Head. Go ahead and like, subscribe, tell a friend, share. We'll do some more cool shit. But until then, take care of yourself, take care of each other. I'll see you guys next time.